new settings.
We may be specifically reaching forward like this because we're working from an iPad today, hoping that we can get some better resolution to things. So bear with us. We also have a very, I'm going to say, a topic today that once again is continuing the theme of our self-investigation and the curiosity of where the reconnective healing experience lives. What is the way in which we recognize energy, light, and information experiencing itself as us? And the topic for this Live and Learn today, I must say, I want to make sure it comes through the way that I heard it, because it's going to challenge some word formations that, despite your race, religion, socioeconomic status, age, country, language, it has been presented with an understanding for many of us and most of us that I would say has, to the best way that I can put it, been retrofitted. It's been retrofitted so that the finite, incredible evolution of humankind in some ways could evolve, perhaps. And maybe because the finite person is always a lot of energy to keep going. And so therefore, we often choose that understanding which makes us feel or experience something through the identity of self rather than our true nature, our true infinite nature. And if we weren't having a conversation around the reconnective healing experience, I don't know that this conversation would be as relevant. So let's first touch on the title today, because today is, as you know, we're not going to have the life leaders do a breakout. We're going to have a very, hopefully, interactive Q&A during the last 20 minutes of our Live and Learn today. So the title we chose, thank you, Cecilia, who I have to bump things off of because she'll always say, oh, Jillian, that might be taken the wrong way. So we are going to explore the nature of self-sacrifice.
And this is going to be mostly Jillian's lead in this. So if I'm pretty quiet and I just chime in once in a while, either with humor, a comment, or a distraction, depending on your perspective, you'll know why I'm just occasionally present. But otherwise, I will have this amazing smile. Or this one.
Well, I would say that it's an interesting part for Eric in this moment because the nature of self-sacrifice from the reconnective healing experience and that which precedes it is going to be really interesting in how Eric plays a role in this today. He is and was asked to be, on some level, a beautiful host for an understanding that we are all a part of in a way. So just, and I'm going to be transparent here because we love our community. It doesn't matter whether Eric's mind is running all the time, which it is running all the time. And often Eric is operating in an awareness from his mind, his thinking mind. And it's a beautiful thing to witness how energy, light, and information has chosen to experience himself when we're speaking of Eric specifically versus energy, light, and experience, energy, light, and information experience itself as Jonathan or as Terry or as Jillian. Each is the singular experience of that. So with Eric, it's continuous. And part of what I found so fascinating around exploring the nature of self-sacrifice is that I had to look, and I want us all to consider how we know what we'll say the understanding of self-sacrifice. And so for 2 minutes, before we delve into this, I want you each to write down one moment, one continuous moment, if it happens to be that, one glimpse of an incident or a way in which you would say you were involved in self-sacrificing. I just want you to write down how or in what way you would connect with the idea. For some, it could have been something that you chose to do or not to do. For some, it might have been the giving of maybe even a kidney, an organ in your body. For some, it might, however it speaks through your finite self. What is the nature of self-sacrifice? So we're going to be quiet for I want you to really take a couple minutes and just document this idea. We are exploring the nature of self-sacrifice. I see Katerina in the chat popped up. We can't reach it, but I saw Katerina put into the chat her son, the caring of her son or the nurturing of her son. Interesting. Beautiful. And you can put it in the chat or not. Don't feel that you have to. We're all as a community so grateful when you are feeling comfortable to share in that way. So let's proceed here for a moment. I'm going to suggest that this is highly relevant, again, because what we know about the reconnective healing experience, and certainly which has been a focus of our conversation, is that a very large aspect of the reconnective healing experience is the dissolving of self. It is the dissolving often, and I'm going to even go as far as to say involuntarily, of the finite I am Jillian. I am Jillian's thoughts. I am Jillian's feelings. I am Jillian's experiences. I am Jillian's past. I'm Jillian's present. I'm Jillian's future. All of the ways in which often we understand ourselves in a reconnective healing experience, something in the engagement of the energy, light, and information experiencing itself as us, there is this dissolving, there is this softening. We played in a retreat this weekend. You're always exploring this, even whether you're cognizant or not, but I want you to give acknowledgement to how you recognize this. So we can say there is a dissolving of identity, otherness, and I think initially this word, topic, self-sacrifice, wasn't so tied to giving up of what I'll call things, whether it was time, money, a physical body part donated. It wasn't perhaps always tied to the giving up of a thing. Even what we might call our energy, our life force. We may have, in my family, I come from one of 5 kids, and we have very dynamic lives and kind of collectively together with our children, we're 32 of us. And the nature of my siblings is such that in this lifetime, we've done many things to organize, to share what we'll call a healthy and whole filled life. But many times it's felt like my life force, the space of I has been pulled and stretched, kind of in the way Katerina might have described, the caring of a child with special needs and so on and so forth. But initially, when we look at quantum physics, when we go to some of the religious icons, be it Christ, or we go to the religious icon of Allah, or we go to these various different ways in which we look at the history of human form, the understanding of self dissolving, self lending, self absorption, the giving up of a thing was not part of the nature of it. It was in some ways as simple as the idea you explore every time in a reconnective healing experience. You are sacrificing the self. For what? For the true nature of your infinite being. It isn't a negative. It isn't a less than. In actuality, in a reconnective healing experience, you are becoming more. And that's why we always ask you, who is the I or who is the you? So we need to just, for a moment, just pause. And before we ask you to glance at the circumstances where the feeling, the thought, the tremendous suffering even that may have come from the nature of what you defined as a self-sacrifice, in and within your finite existence, it may make tremendous logical thinking mind sense. So here we sit in the idea and the actual knowing of the dissolving of a finite identity and attachment to things. So there would be nothing too big to give another. A matter of fact, it would be counterintuitive. Your experience as the finite, the registers start to dissolve otherness. Maybe that's back pain, maybe that's active head, maybe that's a tough day, whatever it may be, the dissolving of otherness, the sacrificing of self happens. And there's nothing too big in the exchange at that moment between you and everything. Absolutely infinite possibility. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to have a moment together, and Eric can lead us a little bit through being the guest. Let's all become the guest. Eric will be the explorer, and for lack of a better understanding, we've been using this terminology a little bit. Eric's going to just dissolve otherness as he innately does, cognizantly and sometimes not cognizantly. And we're going to just be the guest. We're going to receive, and we're going to come back after that, and we're going to look at hopefully the sharing of some of what you each defined as the nature of self-sacrifice. But in this exploration together, take that self-sacrifice into this few minutes together. And as a guest, allow it to be present there, whether it's a thinking thought or just could be a very painful sensation, depending on what that was. And let's have just 5 minutes. I'm going to close my eyes. I'm going to encourage you each to close your eyes. And we will be, as all reconnective healing experiences, in a receiving, simple observation. Okay? So let's all in silence. Let's begin that now. Close your eyes. Bring the self-sacrifice that you wrote down as close as you possibly can to you. Even if it is almost like a reliving of it, let it be as close to you in space and time as possible. And receive. Observe any sensations. If the sensations are very strong, let them be there. The dissolving of otherness is something we have the capacity to be aware that we are aware simultaneously with our finite perceptions. But the balance lies in our ability to recognize the infinite nature of our true being. Receive, observe, notice,
Hey there, family. Dr. Eric and Jillian here.
Welcome, everyone.
And we're very excited about Reconnective Life, our first online global community. This is the most exciting way we've been able to get together since I founded the Reconnection. is to be a place where we can do things together. We'll move into breakout rooms at times when that's appropriate. We'll have energy interactions and meditations and exercises. In other words, expect things you haven't seen before.
You are so charged.
Things
He is so lit about every new way we get to be together every day. Just be together. Let us just speak a little bit about what is going to be the shape of this community.
In this community, we can share and discover more. Here we can talk to each other, we can chat, we can learn from and about one another. Jillian, me, our life leaders, and you will be in daily conversation with you. Weekly, we will have Facebook Lives.
We will be with you every Wednesday. Sometimes it'll be just Eric. On occasion, it might just be me. Sometimes it'll be the two of us. It's all about giving you a way to look at the week living in the frequencies.
And in every fourth week, we will include a live Q&A, so we can talk about things that have been coming up for us, discuss back and forth, share, grow, expand together.
And the ever-growing library of content that has been created over 20 years that will be on demand for you. It will be on-demand content for you to view, enjoy, share again with your inner circle.
And monthly, we are going to have live Zoom retreats.
We're going to bring in some exercises and experiences and things that previously we've reserved for our physical retreats, you know, when we were in the different location resorts and things, and we're modifying them so that we can work with these with you in your home, in your living room, in your den.
Put into the chat line, what is facility?
We're having these weekly Zoom in-depth Q&As.
Finally, we have a place and space to just define what does that really mean living in the frequencies.
This is something that is in all of us.
Everyone can do this.
It doesn't matter how many levels you've gone through or how well you know the programs. It's a community that allows us to recognize how interrelated we all are as receivers of energy, light, and information.
See you there.
Reconnective Life, living in the frequencies every day.